Thanks, Ron. So, Aaron talked about the need to both move fast and stay secure. And as developers adopt the cloud, the expectations of what does move fast mean is changing dramatically, right? Automated deployment, the ability to do continuous integration, to continuous innovation, deploy, build, deploy, build, deploy, build. The definition of fast is changing, and the automation involved in using cloud infrastructure and deploying applications in the cloud is really sort of driving up and ratcheting up the need to be able to move just as fast in monitoring your infrastructure and understanding what's going on so that you can both move fast and stay secure. We talked about the shared responsibility model. Developers are moving fast with a new definition of fast, right? Really fast. But you still have to do your part of this shared responsibility, right? You still have to manage that. Why is visibility important in producing or maintaining your portion of the shared responsibility? Really, as you move applications into the cloud, you want to be able to understand how your infrastructure there is running, both from a security perspective, being able to do incident response, understanding what's going on, but also from a customer experience perspective, right? Identifying where perhaps bottlenecks are happening. You need a really good handle on what your customers are experiencing. I'm sure you've seen sort of statistics around what happens when websites take too long to respond, right? And resulting lost businesses with shopping carts and things. Sometimes a few hundred milliseconds can make the difference, right? So monitoring your infrastructure and the customer experience is very important. From a security perspective, you want to be able to send the right traffic to the right kinds of tools. At Gigamon, our job is to help you get a handle on what is going on in the entirety of your infrastructure, and help you use the right tools at the right time. So, IDS or IPS might need certain information, SIMs, or even secure email gateways need something else. You don't necessarily want to send every packet from your network, every bit of thing that happens, every event, to every tool and overwhelm those tools. It's choosing the right place for the right data in order to make them more efficient and make them work. So, to properly do troubleshooting, to proactively understand your infrastructure and the experience of your users, you need to send the right traffic to the right places, the right data to the right places. All of that really needs traffic visibility. I enjoyed earlier this morning, so Ethan's introduction to his serverless talk, he talked about the evolution from physical servers to virtualization in the cloud. And then Aaron showed pictures of building out an actual data center. He had the containerized containers, or the meta container of containerizing his infrastructure, right? So here's my version of the way we used to do it from a Visio network diagram perspective, right? How do you implement all these different tools, each providing real value, but understanding how you get that visibility for the right tool at the right time. Organizations, they might have in the past used physical taps to secure and understand their on-premise infrastructure, but as they started to build out and use more and more tools, you get this sort of spiderwebby, really ridiculous and difficult to manage, complex web of traffic and tools going different places. So what we really need is a way to implement the multiple tools, many things, but in a much more simple, elegant way. When you look at what happens when you move that spider web to the cloud, a modern microservices architecture, transactions and traffic between each part of the application, those become the key points to monitor. Those become the key points to understand what your user experience is happening and the security of the system. It's really the same sorts of tools. The same sorts of tools are still valuable. It's like we learned over many years how to secure and monitor infrastructure. A lot of those lessons, they still apply in the cloud. They just need to be implemented in a more cloudy way and perhaps across the intersections between microservices as opposed to big monolithic pieces. And so when you start to implement those many tools in the cloud, right, you start to put them in, you say, oh, look at that, I can make a separate VPC, put my tools all in one place and feed traffic to them. But back to my spider web analogy, as you start to think about which tools you need, and you need to see multiple things and do different kinds of analysis, you might end up with a similar, called a logical spider web, of data flowing from your application tiers into your tool tiers, but in that same sort of spider webby way, with just so much going on and so much complexity and multiplication of traffic. You might be sending the same information multiple times, and that cuts into both your performance and your scalability. So at Gigamon, we provide a way to really simplify and just bring in one place of collection, and then use that single collection to go ahead and send out the right information to the right tool. So if we introduce our visibility fabric tier and the ability to say which tools need what data, and perhaps cut down on overuse of particular tools, right? Overwhelming a tool that doesn't need to see everything, or distributing from one source, a single source, to multiple tools. It's the ability to use all those things, the right tool for the right job, but without having to have the terrible complexity and overhead and burden of implementing each single individual tool. We also work really tightly with Amazon as they develop new features and functionality. Their AWS traffic mirroring is a great way to get data out of your workload, and we look at that as just as important, just as easy for taking data in and then distributing to tools. If you look at the bottom part of my number B there, that's the traditional way where we'll go and reach into the workload and pull the data out. But you can do it the new cloudy way, right? Use the AWS traffic mirroring to get the data ingested in the first place. But then we'll still do that distribution. We'll still make sure that the right data gets to the right spots. We're real excited about working closely with Amazon as they deliver more features and functionality along these lines, and helping our mutual customers get the benefits of those great data sources, being able to make the right analysis, understand what data is coming where. So from our technology itself, we're a technology partner with Amazon. We'll implement closely along with their development as they build new features and functionality, make sure that you can get the most out of your use of the cloud. The tools themselves, we're partners with so many different providers, whether they're security or user experience management or understanding how your applications are performing. We work with a broad array of other vendors who can help you make the most of your infrastructure, make sure that you're getting the performance you need, understanding exactly what is going on in your network, or having the ability to investigate if something has gone on. You need to do some investigation into an event. These are great tools. They all run within Amazon on the cloud, and will help feed data to them to make sure they're doing those things, or to make sure your application and infrastructure is behaving the way you want it to. That's all from me and from Gigamon. Thank you very much, Ron. I appreciate having the opportunity.